Let me tell you something. The moment you stop calling him, stop texting him, stop making sure he knows you're there, oh, he's going to notice. At first, he'll pretend like he's fine, but inside, he's asking himself, wait, what happened? Why is she so quiet? And that's when the tables turn, because now he's the one chasing answers. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what happens in his mind when your phone goes silent. Ladies, let me tell you something. Sometimes silence says more than 1,000 phone calls, more than 100 good morning. Texts, more than 1,000,000 I miss you messages. You see, when you stop contacting a man, you're not just cutting off communication, you're cutting off his comfort. And comfort is what some men get addicted to. That little ping on his phone that tells him you're still thinking about him, that's his safety net. That's his confirmation that you're still there, waiting, holding on. But the minute you go quiet, oh, now you've got his attention. Because now he's wondering, wait, what's going on? Where's my daily check-in? Why isn't she chasing me like before? See, that's when the shift happens. Men are hunters by nature. But if you're always standing in front of him, waving your hands, making it easy, there's nothing for him to hunt. The thrill is gone. The excitement fades. He gets lazy. He starts thinking she's always going to be there. But when you disappear from the map, when you stop doing all the work, suddenly he's looking around like a man who just lost his keys. Now listen, this ain't about playing games. This is about valuing yourself enough to stop giving somebody VIP access to your life when they've only paid for general admission. It's about saying, I'm not going to keep calling you, texting you, checking in on you, if you're not showing me that you value me. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop contacting a man, one of two things will happen. Either he'll step up or he'll fade out. And let me tell you, if he fades out, that's your blessing, not your loss. That's the trash taking itself out. But if he steps up, now you know you weren't wasting your energy. You've shown him you're not desperate. You've shown him you can live your life without him. And ironically, that's what makes him want to be in your life more than ever. So stop chasing. Stop overgiving. Stop making someone a priority when they treat you like an option. Step back, live your life, let the silence do the talking. Because sometimes the loudest message you can send is nothing at all. Silence is powerful because it breaks the pattern a man has gotten used to and removes the comfort zone he didn't even realize he was living in. When you're always available, always answering his calls right away, always checking in, sending little reminders of your presence, you're creating a cushion for him. That cushion becomes his normal, his safety blanket, and he stops thinking about what it means to have you in his life because he's never without you. He doesn't have to wonder what's going on with you because you've already told him. He doesn't have to miss you because you've never given him a chance to. But when you suddenly step back, when you stop calling and stop sending those sweet, just thinking of you messages, it shakes him awake. He goes from taking that constant flow of attention for granted to suddenly noticing that something is missing. And that missing piece, that's you. He might not admit it right away, but the human mind reacts to absence in a way that creates curiosity, even urgency. The things we no longer have become more valuable in our eyes because now they're not in reach. That silence you're holding isn't just nothing. It's a signal. It's telling him that the energy he's been receiving from you isn't guaranteed. It's showing him that your presence in his life is not an unlimited supply he can access at will. And that realization stirs something in him. He starts to check his phone more often, wondering why you haven't texted. He notices moments in his day where he would usually hear from you and instead gets nothing but quiet. That quiet is loud in his head. He may start to think back to the last conversation you had, wondering if something's wrong, wondering if you're upset, wondering if you've moved on. The comfort of knowing exactly where he stands with you disappears, and now he's faced with uncertainty. That uncertainty is the birthplace of desire and pursuit. Without realizing it, he's now doing what you had been doing, thinking about you, wondering about you, even missing you. The comfort zone you removed forces him to see your absence. And in that absence, he finally starts to understand the value of your presence. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects back to him just how much space you were holding in his life and how different that life feels without it. It can stir frustration, it can spark action, or it can reveal his true intentions, but it always leaves a mark. The comfort zone he once enjoyed is gone, and in its place is the awareness that you are not just part of the background. You are a presence he must notice, respect, and choose to keep around. When you stop contacting a man, you instantly change the rhythm of the connection and force him to wonder where he stands with you. People get comfortable in routines, and if he's been used to hearing from you regularly, whether it's through texts, calls, or little check-ins, that routine becomes his silent reassurance that everything is fine. It tells him without words that you're still invested, still thinking of him, still making space for him in your life. But when you suddenly step back and take away that steady stream of communication, you introduce uncertainty into the equation. Uncertainty makes people think, and thinking makes them feel. He begins to notice that something is different, and because you're not explaining it, his mind has to fill in the blanks. He might start replaying your last interactions, looking for clues, questioning if he said or did something wrong, or even wondering if your attention has shifted somewhere else. The absence of contact removes his sense of control over the situation, and for many men, that shift is uncomfortable enough to stir action. He may reach out more, ask what's going on, or try to regain your attention in subtle or direct ways, not because you told him to, but because you've created a gap that he wants to fill. The key is that by not contacting him, you're making him feel the weight of your absence without having to explain or justify yourself. You're showing through your actions that his place in your life is not fixed, that it depends on mutual effort, and that your attention isn't something to be taken for granted. This quiet withdrawal forces him to take a closer look at how much he values you, because people only truly assess value when there's a risk of losing it. That wondering he's doing about where he stands with you isn't just curiosity, it's the seed of accountability. If he cares, he'll start working to close the distance. If he doesn't, he'll let the silence stay, and in that case, you've saved yourself from wasting more energy. Either way, stepping back creates a situation where his true feelings and intentions are revealed without you having to chase for answers. Men value what they have to work for, not what is handed to them. And this truth shows itself clearly when you stop contacting a man. When something is always available without any effort, it becomes part of the background, easy to overlook and easy to take for granted. If you are constantly the one initiating conversations, making plans, sending thoughtful messages, and checking in on him, he gets to enjoy all of that without lifting a finger. Over time, he stops seeing it as a gift and starts seeing it as normal, even as something owed to him. That's why stepping back changes everything. The moment you stop doing all the work, you shift the dynamic from him passively receiving to him having to actively think about how to engage with you. It creates a gap. He has to decide whether or not he wants to close. Human nature values what is earned through effort because effort creates investment. When he has to put in time, thought, and action to connect with you, he is building an emotional stake in the relationship. The very act of working for your attention makes that attention worth more to him. By withholding constant contact, you're not punishing him. You're simply giving him the space and opportunity to show whether or not he is willing to put something in. Men who truly care will notice the change and rise to meet it because they recognize that something valuable is not guaranteed. They will send the first text, plan the date, or call just to hear your voice, because now they have to take initiative if they want to keep the connection alive. On the other hand, men who were only interested in the ease and convenience of you doing all the work will fade away. And that's not a loss, it's clarity. This is why so many relationships shift for the better when the woman stops overextending, because it resets the balance and makes room for genuine effort to emerge. When a man invests effort, he not only starts to appreciate you more, but he also becomes more engaged and committed. Because people protect and value what they work to obtain. Taking a step back from constant contact reminds him that you are not something he can keep without giving anything in return. And it allows him to either prove his interest or reveal his lack of it without you having to beg, chase, or overgive. Pulling back shows self-respect and sets healthy boundaries because it communicates without words that you know your value and you're not willing to compromise it for the sake of keeping someone's attention. When you're constantly reaching out, constantly making sure a man feels noticed and cared for, you can accidentally send the message that your worth is tied to his response, and that's a dangerous place to be. Self-respect means you don't overextend yourself for someone who isn't matching your effort, and stepping back from constant contact is one of the clearest ways to show that. It tells him that while you may care, you also have standards for how you are treated, and you won't lower those standards just to keep someone around. Boundaries are not walls meant to push people away. They are guidelines for how you expect to be treated, and they protect your emotional energy from being drained by one-sided dynamics. When you stop contacting a man who has been taking your effort for granted, you are enforcing a boundary that says, I am not here to carry this relationship by myself. It creates a natural filter where those who respect you will adjust their behavior to meet you halfway, and those who don't will fall away. This is not about manipulation. It's about aligning your actions with your worth. Men respond differently to women who respect themselves because self-respect commands respect from others. If he sees that you are willing to step back rather than beg for his attention, it signals that you have a strong sense of self and that you're not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. Healthy boundaries also create healthier relationships because they prevent resentment from building up. When you constantly give more than you receive, you eventually feel drained, unappreciated, and unvalued. But when you maintain balance by pulling back when necessary, you protect yourself from that cycle. This approach leaves room for the right person to step in and meet you on equal ground while making it clear that your time, attention, and energy are privileges, not guarantees. His reaction will reveal if he truly values you or not, because the way a person responds to your absence says more than anything they might say when you are constantly present. When you stop contacting a man, you create a situation where his behavior becomes the clearest indicator of his feelings and intentions. If he cares about you and values the connection, he will notice the change and feel compelled to bridge the gap. He will reach out, check in, and make an effort to restore communication, because losing touch with you will matter to him. His actions will show that he sees you as an important part of his life and that he is willing to put in the effort to maintain that bond. On the other hand, if your silence is met with silence, that tells you everything you need to know without a single conversation. If he doesn't notice or doesn't care enough to respond, then your presence wasn't as important to him as it should have been, and that truth is better to know sooner rather than later. This is why pulling back is such a powerful tool for clarity. It removes all the noise, excuses, and mixed signals, leaving only the reality of his investment. People can talk about how much they care, but when the opportunity to prove it arises, their actions either match their words or they don't. In relationships, consistent effort is the ultimate measure of value, and stepping back gives you the chance to see if he has that consistency in him. It also prevents you from wasting energy on someone who is only comfortable receiving but not contributing. If he truly values you, the thought of losing you will outweigh his ego, pride, or hesitation, and he will take steps to keep you in his life. If he doesn't, then his lack of response saves you from continuing to invest in a dead end. Either way, his reaction removes the guesswork and lets you move forward with a clear understanding of where you stand, giving you the power to protect your energy and invest it where it will be respected and reciprocated. The right man will step up and the wrong one will fade away. Because when you stop contacting a man, you create a natural separation that reveals who is truly invested and who is only there for convenience. The man who genuinely cares about you, who values your presence and appreciates what you bring into his life, will not be comfortable with the distance. He will feel the absence, recognize the shift, and take action to close the gap, because losing connection with you is not something he's willing to risk. He will call, text, make plans, and find ways to reestablish that bond, not because you pushed him to do it, but because he wants to. His effort will be consistent, and it will come from a place of wanting you in his life, not just needing your attention for his own comfort. On the other hand, the wrong man, the one who only enjoyed the ease of you doing all the work, the one who never truly valued you, will simply allow the silence to stay. He may even disappear completely because, without your constant presence feeding his ego or filling his time, he doesn't see enough reason to invest his own energy. This difference in reactions is a gift to you because it saves you from staying in a one-sided dynamic that drains you. It prevents you from wasting more time on someone who doesn't have the same level of interest or commitment. And it frees you to focus on someone who actually shows up for you. The beauty of this approach is that you don't have to guess, overanalyze, or demand answers. Time and distance will reveal the truth. A man who is right for you will not let you slip away quietly. He will step into the space you've created with effort, consistency, and respect. A man who is wrong for you will fade into that space without a fight, making it clear that you were the one carrying the connection all along. This clarity is empowering because it shifts your perspective from chasing validation to recognizing who is truly worthy of your energy. By pulling back, you are not just testing someone, you are giving both of you the opportunity to see whether this is a relationship built on mutual effort or on one person giving while the other takes. In the end, the right man will make himself known through his actions, and the wrong man will do you the favor of removing himself without you having to force anything.